Wait, you mentioned the Oilers. You might as well go to them. You already said something. They're scuffling right now. They're playing in New York Monday night. Does Whit need to order up an hearing or what here?
What do they got? Two wins in their last 11 games in regulation?
Yep, currently the second wild card team.
Guys, it's a panic. It's a little bit of a panic right now. Here's the thing. I'm not like Biz. I'm not going to run away and find a new team, right? I'm going to stick by this team. I'm not going anywhere, but I have to be completely truthful. I am nervous as all shit. I've almost kind of come to grips that I'll have an hearing for a month, a Barry Bonds style cross hearing. The issue being the start was that good. And now I didn't even kind of realize, I checked a bunch of different stuff today and was looking over their season so far. They started off 9-1. Right. And things were humming along. And the way that McDavid and Draisaitl were playing was just out of this world. Now they're still playing great. They're not exactly what they were the first 10 games, but these guys are not the issue. We'll make that immediately clear. I think every Edmonton Oilers fan in the world knows that. But they were just that on fire. The power play was completely wrecking other teams, and they were flying around. Now the schedule was a little bit easy. They had a lot of home games early. Since then, they're 9-13. In their last 22. So you're looking at an under 500 team through the course of almost like a couple months, it seems, if not 6 weeks, say. And if I'm looking at the bright side of things, it's like they lost Nurse, they lost Slater Cuckoo, they lost Duncan Keith to the entire left side of the defense. They lost Cody Ceci for a while on the right side. Guys have come back a little bit, but at some point they were without everyone. So that was a really hard thing to get through. Goaltending's an absolute disaster, which everyone kind of talked about going into the season. Mike Smith's an older guy, and he's had some great years, right? He's been an amazing pro. He's had some phenomenal success under Tippett. Since he's been back, he's got 5 games. He's under 900 save percentage. He's just beneath 4 goals against. So it's like they have to do something. Now, the immediate thing that all these Oilers fans are talking about, and I cannot say I agree with them right now, is they want a coaching change and they want to get somebody else in there, which, right, if you see Bruce, there it is in Vancouver, it's kind of hard to argue against that. But the Oilers have had about 14 coaches in the last 10 years. I exaggerate, but it's like at some point, I don't know if you continue to switch coaches and change coaches that if it's going to do anything. Like they've tried this so many different times. And the fact of the matter is they don't have a goaltender. Their defense is thin, and the depth of the third and fourth lines is not great. So when you don't beat teams with your power play and you don't beat teams with McDavid and Draisaitl combining for 7 points in a game, it's really hard for them to win. Now, the thing is that's scary, right? Nuge has a long-term deal. Hyman, they just signed this summer. And if you look at them actually missing the playoffs in Connor McDavid's 7th year, that is beyond a disaster. That is possibly like McDavid saying, and I'm saying this on my own, I've never heard this. That is possibly him being like, I can't do this anymore. Would you blame him? I don't know. Like it's pretty ridiculous at this point, considering they look the exact same way as they have years prior when everyone's talked about all their weaknesses as they continue to be there. So I was all confident with the start, and I'm an Oilers fan. I'm still confident. I'm wavering a little bit. I was also confident with the bet because I didn't think Calgary could keep this up, not thinking they have Markstrom, who's just a top-end goalie playing out of his mind with a team that's probably a little bit faster in the end. Besides those two guys, Calgary can play, dude. They're a quick team. Goudreau's having what looks like it could be a career year minus the 99-point season. And the Oilers right now, they play New York tonight. This is Monday night, excuse me.
It's going to be a big one tonight.
And they play Toronto Wednesday. I mean... good luck against Toronto. I mean, they got to win this game. Georgiev's playing, not Shesterkin. So I'm just at the point where it's gone on long enough where things continue to be the exact same throughout each year, where they come out guns a-blazing and then things kind of start falling apart. And then hopefully they get in the playoffs, but do they have the depth? So what happens to happen to, in my mind, it's not a coaching change right now. Put away the Babcock rumors because Ken Holland will bring them back. Get rid of that and make some deals. You cannot miss the playoffs in year 7 of McDavid. You got to get some goaltending help. You got to get some defensive help, and you got to get some depth up front, and then maybe things can switch around. The Anaheim Ducks are looking phenomenal. I thought they'd have some guys to trade, looking at Hampus Lindholm and Josh Manson on UFAs. Well, fuck, they're ahead of the Oilers in the standings in the Pacific. So are they going to be selling guys? I don't think so. It's just a scary time to be my left ear in the end. It is. I feel bad for this guy.
Hey, can we get a little round of applause here for that breakdown on the Oilers? Holy cow.
I'm still an Oiler guy, though. Come on, Oilers.
So Whit, I don't see Ken Holland firing Tippett halfway through the season.
Not this year.
No, because I think it's the last year of Tippett's deal anyway, and he'll give him a chance to figure it out. And I would imagine, given the roster, that they're going to be in it to the end, even if they do end up missing playoffs. Goaltending, I mean, you hit it in the head. I was just concerned early in the season, and we all know this. There's so many penalties called in the first 20 games. Not at the pace that ends up happening the rest of the year in playoffs. And we saw how not only hot that power play was, but then all of a sudden you're not going to get as many of them. And ever since that's dropped off and the power play's cooled off, all of a sudden you see a below 500 team. So I completely agree with everything you said. They got to probably look to make a move. You mentioned Nuge. He's probably the one piece that I think that is significant that another team would want, given with what they gave him. Now, mind you, does he have a no move clause? Like, does he have a no trade?
I don't think you get rid of Nuge.
Well, who else are you going to trade to get anything remotely relevant in order to help your roster?
Prospect.
Man, I don't think
Bouchard. I mean, yeah, if you bring so if you trade Nuge and you get a top end defenseman, I don't even know off the top of my mind who that would be, maybe, but it's like you just signed the guy, really. So it's put it this way: the past two games, and now you're listening to Tuesday. So before the Rangers game, they had the Devils. They took a lead. They ended up blowing it. They lose that game in overtime. Hughes shot the puck directly into Mike Smith's stomach. It somehow went in. The Islanders game on Sunday, was it, or Saturday, was the most disgusting effort. The third period, dude, in kind of like not a must win, but like, let's get going here, Oilers. They didn't get a shot in the third period till there was like 6 minutes left in the game. So it's just the craziest and scariest part, if I'm a real diehard Oilers fan, which I am, but I'm talking about guys that live like in Leduc that are just like living and dying with every single face-off. McDavid looks so disgusted on the bench sometimes. Like the look of just like, oh my God, is this happening again? That's what's scary.
Well, what he's disgusted about is the fact that they're going to be battling for a playoff position, and Tip's going to have to play him fucking 28 to 30 minutes as a centerman, and he's going to be worn out, so he won't even be able to do what he can do in playoffs. The same thing happened last year. They're too one-dimensional, and that's what I mentioned earlier in the season. I think through fucking 10 games, if not 15 games, they were close to 50% on the power play. It's just – that's not how you're going to win games. They play too much for power plays and take advantage of that. So this is ugly, and I'm very happy about my bet looking back.
Nuge has a no move clause for the rest of the contract, which has 7 more years left on it. And listen, if I'm an Oilers fan, I'm looking at the Chicago Blackhawks in the standings. I'm seeing they're 12 points back of the wild card. Probably not getting in. It'd be crazy if they're not going to unload Marc-Andre Fleury somewhere, get something for him if they're not going to make the playoffs. He's a pending UFA. That move, it seems like the most obvious move in the universe. But if you're fucking the Edmonton Oilers, you got to do what you got to do to make that happen, Biz, I think.
I would fucking love to see that. Where did you pull that one out of, RA?
I think it's just doing the obvious math. I mean, this guy's a world-class goalie. He's won Stanley Cups. He's been in the throes of the playoffs. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent. Chicago, they're already way back of the wild card right now. I don't think they're going to get better in the interim. So, man, I mean, he's unrestricted. You could probably cost you draft picks. That would be
a very good move for Chicago, considering they got him for basically nothing. Didn't they get him for nothing?
Yeah, future considerations, which was nothing. So yeah, if they can turn that into an asset,
what would you pay for him right now? Given the desperation, would you give up a first rounder for Marc-Andre Fleury?
I'd probably make a better like gas station attendant than GM. I'm so bad at stuff like this. No,
you don't even know how to pump gas.
No, I would. What?
You don't even know how to pump gas.
That's true.
That's why I said I'd probably make a better gas station attendant. I think that. Thanks for explaining the joke, though. I think that in the end, you can't go much more than like a third or second rounder. You can't give a first rounder up for a guy that might be there for 10 games if they miss the playoffs.
If they miss the playoffs, I think that the ownership group will clean house.
I can't even imagine this season with what they did in the offseason, them missing this year. I don't even know where you'd go.
Yeah, I think they would have to clean house in order to keep Connor around for at least one more year. Yeah, that would be. That would make
clean house. It's like
that would. That would be like Antonio Brown type drama. Maybe he'll just fucking peace out in the midst of a game at one time this season. Just say, I've had enough. You guys can get Fleury. You can use me as bait. See you later.
All of a sudden, he's on a flight over to China. He somehow's playing in the Olympics, the only guy from the league.
He'd still win the gold for them.